So last Friday we talked about the trig functions and where they came from and how to calculate them. We looked a little bit at how to calculate them on the calculator. Sine, cosine, and tangent. Also cosecant, secant, and cotangent. Quick review. If you have your calculator, pull it out so you got it handy. Using your calculator, find the sine of 60 degrees. Four decimal places, remember. 0.8660. Okay. Without your calculator, find the cosine of 30 degrees. And I bet you're wondering, how the heck can I find the cosine without a calculator? You said it. What was it? Same thing. Why is it the same thing? 60 and 30 are complements. So the sine of one is equal to the cosine of the other. Find the tangent of 45 degrees. Just one. You got it. So those are pretty simple. They're buttons right on your calculator. You just have to type them in. What if I ask you to find the secant of 60 degrees? Remember, secant was the inverse or the reciprocal of cosine. So you either do 1 divided by the cosine of 60 degrees. Should give you 2, by the way. Or most of your calculators have a key that looks like this, x negative 1. So what you could have done is this. Cosine 60, close the parentheses, and then hit that x negative 1 key. That should also give you the 2. What's that? If you have the button, the cosine negative 1 button, that's inverse cosine. That's something totally different. We're actually going to get to that in about 5 minutes. So how about the cosecant of 30 degrees? Well, it goes off of the sine, right? So type in sine 30, close parentheses, at the x negative 1, you get 2. And how about the cotangent of 45 degrees? Cotangent goes off a tangent, so it's tangent 45, hit the x negative 1, you get 1. Everybody okay with finding secant, cosecant, and cotangent? Any major questions? Okay. What if I do it this way instead? Let's see what I want to do. Yeah, what the heck? In this triangle, find sine of angle A. We'll just leave it as a fraction. Sine is what, 2 sides? Opposite hypotenuse. So we know the hypotenuse is the 37. The opposite and the adjacent change with the angle, right? So for angle A, which one is opposite? The 35. Good. So this is going to be 35 over 37. Cosine of B would be, careful, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. According to angle B, 35 is the adjacent now, so 35 over 37. Remember, A and B are complements because they're in a right triangle together. Tangent of angle B. Opposite over adjacent will be 12 over 35. Cotangent of angle B. Cotangent would be adjacent over opposite. So 35 over 12. secant of angle A, where secant is hypotenuse over adjacent. So that would be 37 over 12. I think you've got that down. Andrew asked about that cosine -1 or sine -1 key on your calculator. That does not do the secant, cosecant stuff like that. It's not a reciprocal. It's what we call an inverse. See, I have an inverse sine, which is abbreviated on your calculator sine -1. Sometimes also called arc sine, by the way. Every operation in math has an inverse. Addition and subtraction are inverses. If you start with, when we solved equations, if we had x plus 3 equals 17, what did we do to solve the equation? We subtracted 3. Because subtracting 3 is the inverse of adding 3. They undo each other or reverse each other. If we had an equation that was 7x equals 42, what did we do to solve it? Divided by 7. Because multiplying by 7 and dividing by 7 were inverses. They cancel each other out. They reversed each other. Let's say I have an equation like this. Sine x equals 0.7239. Sine is an operation of itself. Just like multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. The inverse of sine is the inverse sine. Yes, sine negative. So what you have to do here is use that sine -1 key. Cancels that out. Then you punch it in your calculator as you get that second sine, you get the sine -1, and put in 0.7239. So second sine 0.7372, 39, close parentheses, equals 46.38 degrees. Most angles, by the way, go to 2 decimal places. The functions themselves go to 4. So let's say I wanted you to find cosine of x equals 0.4477. What's x going to equal? Perfect. That's inverse cosine of 0.4477, 63.40. Make sense? Or tangent x. Now, sine and cosine both have to be less than 1 or less. Tangent can be any number. So let's say tangent of x equals 2.8439. X is going to be second tangent 2.8439. 70.63 degrees. Here's where it gets tricky. Secant. Now remember, if we had the angle, how did we find the secant? We did cosine of x into the x -1. How do you reverse that process? Well, if you reverse that process, the x -1 has to come first, right? So what you do is this. Then you've got to do the inverse cosine of that. So it's going to look like this. So your keystrokes on your calculator, you're going to do second cosine to get the inverse cosine. You're going to type in the 1.9942. But instead of closing the parentheses first and then hitting the x -1 key, you're going to hit the x -1 first and then close the parentheses. $59.90 degrees. You guys get to work? Get it to work? Give her a shot. Everybody struggling with it? That's it, 59 point. Yeah, so for this one, solve for x. It'll be just like the secant, only we're going to use sine instead of cosine. So what are we going to do for this? So the second sine, because it'll be an inverse sine, 7.34, x negative 1 inside or outside the parentheses? Inside. Very good. Second sine, 7.34, x negative 1, close. 7.83 degrees. Everybody get that? Cool. Cotangent of x equals 0.835. Okay, next. What'd you get? Okay, so what you have to do is second tangent. So it's an inverse tangent. 0.835 with the x negative 1 inside the parentheses gives you the 50.14. Any questions? You look confused, Ross. You got her? Your back hurts? That's a tough way to go through the day when you're sitting in these stupid chairs. So, on each of these, it's 1 through 23, the odds. Page 725, exercise 33-5C. Page 726, exercise 33-5D. 1 through 23, the odds. So just 12 of each. One is just your sine, cosine, tangent. The other one is the secant, cosecant, cotangent.